Hey there, Geek and Geekettes. This is Trevor from Geeking Off the Page, one quarter of the idiots that come to you via podcast. Just as a fun fact, we actually record everything through Zoom, so there's always a video component to what we do. This particular episode, episode 2, was recorded on April 19th. So if you kind of want to see what you've been hearing, this is your chance. I'm sorry. I'll apologize now. As you can see in the back, there's an American flag. Officially, today, like this week, I became an American, so I no longer have to be a polite Canadian, but I'm still going to say, I'm sorry.
In a world overrun with an infinite amount of multiverses, originating from a plethora of sources, four longtime friends band together to try to make sense of it all and present it to an audience in an easy-to-digest podcast. This is Geeking Off the Page.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Hitchin, and I will be the next Hokage. That is my dream.
Hi, I'm Trevor Brown, and my feet hurt.
I'm Gavin. They say I was abandoned in a Toys R Us and raised by Optimus Prime. Wholly accurate.
And I'm Troy, and I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. He's a pepper. She's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? All right. So this is the episode 2 of Geeking Off the Page. And we are going to start with a little bit of anyone watch anything interesting lately? Anyone want to start off? I know Mike started off with his thing. Anything? How about you, Gavin?
Oh, yeah, we just watched Doctor Who. They went to try and kill Hitler, but they stuck him in a closet.
Oh,
And again, this is the Matt Smith era.
Yes.
Still the Ponds, though, right?
Yep. Still the
Yep.
ponds. This is when you get into all the pond, river backstory.
Yeah.
All that. So that's been fun.
Have you seen the Van Gogh episode?
Yes.
Yeah, we unlike Ontario, we are not completely locked down to the point of police escorts back from the provincial line. So we had the Van Gogh experience where they projected Van Gogh stuff on the walls, and I was trying to explain to Amanda that having seen this, we really need to see that Doctor Who episode, and she's seen maybe like 3 episodes of the with the new one. 13? Is it 13?
Yes, Doctor is is the latest. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, she hasn't seen any of the Matt Smith or David Tennant days or anything else really. So that's one I think I really need to introduce her to.
Yeah, the Van Gogh episodes were great.
Yeah, it is probably one of the strongest episodes that doesn't have Rory in it. Because Rory, I believe, is of the Matt Smith era, is probably the best written character, especially once he becomes the. Well, have you seen them all before yet, Mike?
Which one?
All of the Doctor Who's. Have you seen all of the Matt Smith Doctor Who's?
No, this is the second
so you're
season
watching
with Matt Smith.
You're watching them
but
in order.
towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna stop talking about Rory because I was about to give something away. But
no, I will
you're
say
coming up.
one thing that's great with Doctor Who, which the 5 seasons so we've watched so far.
Mhm.
I love how every single character that interacts with the Doctor just becomes a badass eventually, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm just kind of this nerdy nurse. Next thing you know, is this Roman gladiator for 2,000 years who's just like wreaking havoc through the galaxy. Like, every single character has some sort of story arc where by the end, after they've met him, they're
exactly.
they can terrorize the galaxy. They have so much power.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
There's some things you can count on in this universe. There's about 3 episodes of Futurama which are guaranteed to make you cry. Otherwise, you have a heart of stone. And the Van Gogh episode of Doctor Who, guaranteed.
Yeah, I guess I can think of 2. What are your 3 Futuramas that make you cry?
The dog.
No, that was an obvious. If no one has that on their list, they have no soul. So anyway,
the Leela's being abandoned at the orphanage, where her parents have been looking after her.
Yes, when you find out her family, her family have been there all along. Yes. And
then that last scene when Fry
finds
his brother.
His brother.
Well, the brother too, but also that one where he actually gets to talk to his mother. So actually, that's 4. That's 4 episodes.
I don't think I know that one. Wait, Fry goes back and is able to talk with his mother.
Thanks to Nibbler.
Yes. Okay, now I know which one you're talking about. Okay, yeah. But no, yes.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just an emotional
agree.
wreck, you know.
I will agree. Well, dude, I'm at the point where I cry at the drop of a hat, or I drop at the cry of a hat. I don't know.
Hat at the drop of a cry?
Yeah, hat at the drop of a cry, yes. Oh, and to patch on to something that I don't think made it onto the episode last week, I saw that walking, transforming Optimus Prime. That's crazy stupid.
The fact that you can make it do all that stuff, pose and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, no. $700 US.
No, it's ridiculous. And the funny thing is, the video I saw it was a mother and her daughter, and the daughter is all fascinated by this thing happening. I'm like, yeah, right, sure, yeah. The mother is the big Transformer fan.
Was it one of those YouTube videos where the main contributor is sitting there with their hands on their face, their eyes are wide, and they've got that scream look on their face?
It's pretty much it. Like there was no audio. It was just them reacting to this stupid thing, and it's like, yeah, there's no way that. I mean, okay, yes, if any toy would just stand up, transform, and move around on its own, yes, that's fascinating. But they seemed a little too overexcited that it was Optimus Prime, and I don't think. I'm sorry. I'm sure there are women out there our age that collect Transformers and all that, but there's no way that little girl was as excited as her mother was at seeing this toy transform on its own. So
I mean, as I said, I was practically raised by Optimus Prime. He's a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she was raised by any Optimus Prime, maybe movie Optimus Prime, but I mean, that's Mr. Pragmatic Optimus Prime. I'll tail your face off.
Oh, you're talking Bay Transformer.
Bayverse, yes.
Yeah, Bayverse, yes.
The ones you can take down with a crowbar.
They are so very fragile.
It's just, I mean, when rises up out of the pool, you're like, wow, there's so many holes. You can just stick a crowbar in, like, someone riding a bike and you stick a branch in the spokes. They look like the same thing. They just and crash to the ground. You're like, well, that's one transformer down.
They look like a trash compactor threw up.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. Okay.
So this week I watched Invincible, Winter Soldier. I know there was other things, but nothing that's really stuck out.
All right. So did we all watch Falcon and Winter Soldier? Did we?
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like.
All right. So let's talk about episode 5, the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Totally, exactly.
Please be Gwyneth Paltrow's severed head.
Looks like rescue needs rescuing.
It just opens it kind of.
That's true.
That's why Stark hasn't been helping out.
Yeah.
That's why he can't get any money out of the Stark Foundation.
My favorite part is now Elaine Bennis is part of the Marvel Universe.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Can you do this?
De Fontaine.
Yeah.
L'Orchestra Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine. Yes.
Yes.
Which
I just thought it was Elaine.
Okay, it was fantastic to see that character in there. I love what they did to her. The streak of like white hair is purple. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the purple hair. Now I already knew that she's in Black Widow.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that would have been a bit more of an impact had Black Widow released when it was supposed to have been released.
Yeah, exactly.
It was supposed to release. The reveal in Falcon Winter Soldier would have been that much bigger, but now it's going to be kind of reversed. But
yeah.
But still, it kind of shows you that it may not be Hydra that's around, but perhaps Leviathan, which is what it was the group under Hydra that was always running even deeper.
Really? Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I only knew her as eventually she goes by the name of Madam Hydra. Like she starts off with Shield. She works under Nick Fury.
She started with Shield.
Yeah.
It was actually an infiltrator of Shield via Hydra, but it's actually an infiltrator of Hydra because of Leviathan. She was a member of Leviathan first.
Okay, so she was Hydra from the get-go.
No, she was Leviathan first, infiltrated Hydra, and then Hydra had her infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
All
layers upon layers upon layers,
right.
which makes the character more interesting, but also that much more dangerous.
Okay, so going with the information that we know, she was originally supposed to be in Black Widow first, where we're probably going to get more backstory on her. So technically, it'll be a flashback because obviously Black Widow takes place before all of this stuff is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be revealed that she is Hydra? I highly doubt they're going to throw in Leviathan. There's no way they're going to throw in Leviathan in the middle of this, and everyone will be like, who the crap is Leviathan?
Well,
yeah,
also there's like an hour left. That's it. There's one episode left.
Something about Hydra with, I mean, now that the Wakandans have Zemo.
Yeah. Well, technically they're dropping them off at the raft. The raft. The raft?
The raft.
The raft.
The raft, yeah. The raft on their way back to Wakanda, they're gonna drop them off at the raft. So but yeah, so obviously, so what are we going? Are we going with this is Hydra or is this S.H.I.E.L.D.? Well, I guess we if she was S.H.I.E.L.D., we would have seen her by now. We would have seen anything about her now. So we're going to go with she's Madam Hydra then.
Yeah.
Makes sense to you guys?
So far, yeah.
Sort of. The only thing that's kind of like bothering me a little bit about like this, the overall arcing story, is it's the military basically are the ones who essentially said, this is our new Captain America, John Walker. He's Captain America. And of course, as we've seen, he's no longer Captain America. But the thing is with Sam and Bucky running around doing things, are they reporting to the military? Like who's kind of the overall arcing governing body? Like it's not S.H.I.E.L.D. because we haven't heard a single peep of S.H.I.E.L.D. in with the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So like who do they report to? And on top of that, what's with this muddy ownership of the S.H.I.E.L.D.? So whose S.H.I.E.L.D. is it? Damn it!
Yeah, finders keepers, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Falcons again.
Well, here's another thing that was kind of I just had a bit of a problem with. John Walker was like the ultimate military guy at when we first saw him.
Mm-hmm.
No super serum, no super strength. He was just a guy who trained really, 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 really hard with the S.H.I.E.L.D. and has managed to catch it. But we've seen that pretty much Captain America, Chris Evans Captain America, and Bucky were the only ones who were really able to fling that with the kind of power necessary to do the kind of acrobatics and stunts that they were doing. But now you got Falcon, who's
after a montage.
Well, the Rocky montage, which I like the ending credit music tied to that. That actually worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
But the thing is he's still not a super soldier. He said very deliberately he would not take the serum. So how is he able to do flips and leaps and this kind of shit with what I'm assuming is maybe about 2 weeks of practice? Did they say how long it was?
2 minutes.
Well, yes.
Well,
in montage time, it's 2 minutes.
In montage time, yeah. But he also had like a couple of costume changes. He changed his outfit a couple of times, but still, it also sucks. It also, I think, is just poor editing where him and friggin' Bucky, the scene before the montage, they're just tossing around like a frisbee back and forth to each other. He seems to be perfectly fine with it then.
Oh yeah, and then he's missing it in the montage.
Yeah, well, exactly.
The part that I found that was funny is so they do the final goodbye. He's like, if you need me, give me a call. And they turn and you suddenly see, Sam's walking towards the camera. Bucky is like way in the distance. He's like, he must, the second they shook hands, he like just did a 100-meter sprint or something. Just how fast can I go in 100 meters?
That's a super soldier talking there.
Just
yeah, exactly.
How is Bucky so far away? Sam just turned to the camera and took 2 steps. Bucky's already 100 yards and accelerating. How fast does that man go? Like, is he just not going to use a taxi? He's just going to run to the airport? Like, it was just like, wow. I mean, I thought he would have been a lot closer if they turned and started walking in opposite directions. But man, either Sam stood there for quite a while contemplating the lint in his navel before taking that turn to the camera, or Bucky's a lot faster than he lets on when he walks away. Like, well, it just seemed like really bad, like just a bad jump cut of editing. Just like he's just, it's like they filmed it a couple of times, like, this is the take we'll use, not realizing that just how far he had gotten away at that point
from the previous shot. Yeah. Which is something you're
thing,
also. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, the other thing I was thinking of with the whole box and the gift from Wakanda, right? There's this whole story arc of the stupid boat, right? Say, hey, I got you a gift from Wakanda. It's like, what is it? A flying boat? Can it fish? Like, can it? I'm expecting like a Captain Hook pirate ship that can fly around the sky. It's like, hey,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
It was. I did like the look on the like all the people's faces when Bucky just suddenly picked up the engine block off the back of the truck instead of just the. That was a nice reaction. I mean, most people, if you see someone lift like an 1,100-pound engine block off the back of a truck barehanded, you're going to be like, oh, okay. Maybe I better double check when I put my coffee this morning because I'm not believing what I'm seeing.
What I love about that is it's all one continuous shot, and you see the weight of the thing as the truck raises up after Bucky picks it up. There's no weight to Bucky, but as soon as he puts it down, it suddenly becomes this hugely heavy object again because just the sound that they put into it is just a beautifully shot.
But it's also, you see the suspension of the truck raise up. Like
exactly.
Yeah. And it was just a little detail like that. I mean, the thing was probably made of like balsa wood and styrofoam, but
if it was even there,
it was just nice details.
Yeah, that little bit of foresight to like, if he picks it up, we should have the truck react somehow to show its weight.
Oh yeah, they're definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. Speak now. Go. Speak. Go. Speak.
All right.
What were you saying, Mike? I'm sorry. What was that? What were you saying, Mike? I don't.
Anyway, the Winter Soldier arm, his Wakandan vibranium arm, as he's moving and using his hands, and you see him like moving his arms around. I'm realizing, wait a second, that looks like it's as natural as his other hand. Like the whatever the 3D printer that they use to create the arm fits so well that it doesn't look like it's like a mechanical arm that he's wearing over his real hand. It looks like it's just his hand. And I thought that was just such a nice little detail. It didn't look too bulky.
You can buy the sleeve to wear. You can buy the one that goes right up over your shoulder of like the original Winter Soldier, so with the bands of metal with a star, or the new Wakandan arm. And it's like a nylon sleeve you pull over, and then there's little pieces you can add to it to give it a little bit of three-dimensionality. And it's like $50.
To hear Sebastian Shaw talk about putting the arm on, though, apparently they had to lube his arm up something fierce just to get the damn thing on, because it fits so tightly.
Well, yeah, because it's also the thing that he wears is a replacement prosthetic. So he has a shoulder piece, an upper arm, and a lower arm, and then he wears a glove. And then they go back in, track the whole entire thing, because it's all got monitors on it, and they track it and replace the whole entire thing and stitch all the pieces together. Because there's a piece for his forearm, his elbow is exposed, and then there's his upper arm, and then where his shoulder is, and then they track it and all that. But he does actually physically wear something. So, and I just realized as I'm looking into it on camera, well, no one's going to be seeing this, I'm using my right hand when it actually is his left hand that he uses. Yeah, so this arm, not this arm, this arm, for the benefit of
how does that go again?
Yeah, this arm, not this arm.
Okay.
They did make the nice point of, when he had to like grab the wrench and tighten, and like, why did you use the other arm? And just like, because he's right-handed. You wouldn't think to use your left. I mean, I'm right-handed. If I'm using tools, I don't think to put the tool in my left hand to do whatever. So, if it becomes so natural, it would be a case of he doesn't even remember. Like, it's not even like he's always thinking it's his mechanical hand. Oh,
and he's got the superhero serum anyway. So
so he'd just be
doesn't matter
anyway.
I did quite like the how they really started to double down on the banter back and forth between the two of them. This was definitely one of the better scripted episodes where they were playing off each other really well.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that there's better chemistry with them at this point, which is kind of cool to see that. Yes.
Yeah, it definitely felt felt more like the Civil War banter that was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only took 5 episodes to get to that point.
Especially flirting with the
never at
sister.
all.
Don't you flirt with my sister?
That was cute. Yes, that was kind of cute. But so what are we looking at? So we don't have Zemo anymore. We don't have well, we know who we're gonna end up with. Are we going to actually have friggin' Walker crash the party? Because we know are we gonna have Torres as the new Falcon? Because in the comics, Torres, the character of Torres, becomes the Falcon after Sam decides to become Captain America. Are we going right to that comic story? Or like, is Sam going to be showing up in a Wakandan Captain America suit and friggin'?
Well, he left the wings with Torres. He said,
exactly. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, I don't know if Torres has the jetpack, but he definitely has the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the mid-credit scene where you see Walker working on his own shield, what I'm thinking though is
that thing's gonna fall apart so
he's
easily.
Making that thing out of steel and aluminum. The first time he throws that thing, it's just gonna go boom, and then just be like all deformed around a pole because it ain't vibranium. It's not gonna keep its shape that well. And when he throws it as a super soldier, first time it hits something, it's just gonna deform around whatever it hits, and then you're just gonna be it's like a frisbee that every time you throw it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
Well,
when pieces fall off of it, you're going to clearly see the Pepsi logo from the material.
Yeah, you're just going to be he's just going to be throwing a lump of metal after a while.
I mean, he still has the super soldier serum, so he probably at best take out one person with that thing before it falls apart. Because there's no way those welds.
I think what they should have showed is as he's working on it, another 30 of them all stacked up and all finished. So he's just going to keep reaching, grabbing another one, grabbing another one, grabbing another one.
Didn't the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have something like that? The pizza,
pizza thrower.
Yeah,
the pizza throwing van.
He's going to be. I mean, every time even if he hits someone with it, it's going to deform to the point where it's not going to have that aerodynamic, parabolic shield shape, and it's not going to fly well. And because it's just making it out of just standard steel, it's just I just think of that when I was watching it, I'm like, wow, that's not going to hold up. That's not going to hold up at all. First time when someone punched that thing, it's just collapse like a garbage can lid. He's going to be like, well, that's okay. Grab the next one.
He might as well be.
It's not like you can walk up to the Wakandans and say, please, sir, can I have some vibranium?
I need another shield here.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting another shield. So it's going to be. Yeah. So it's going to be the flag smashers.
Flag smashers.
Right? Flag smashers.
Falcon. Bucky.
Maybe. Well, no. Okay, so it's going to be Sam and Bucky. Maybe Torres.
Mm-hmm.
Torres will probably come at the end sort of thing, all of a sudden, and then he'll be backup sort of thing, comes in with the wings. It'll be a newly designed sort of twist on the whole entire thing.
Or just really patched together and looking real trashy.
Yeah.
So do we think Walker's going to be U.S. agent?
Oh, no, totally. Walker's totally showing up in a U.S. agent, sort of poorly stitched together.
Maybe it might even be just his. I mean, the thing is, the stripes are already there for the strap, so he just paints it black.
Which I could see. Although his shield is supposed to be black and red, isn't it? U.S. agent. And if I recall, when John Walker first became Captain America, he sucked donkey balls at throwing the damn thing.
Well,
he couldn't get the hang of it. He actually had to, I believe he had to learn from Taskmaster or something like that in order
Taskmaster taught him how to throw the shield.
Yeah, so
catch it.
It's interesting they kind of skip past all of that. So, and he's Mr. Regular Soldier who can throw the shield really well. Now he's Super Soldier. Now he can throw the shield through, adamantium. Well, okay, maybe not adamantium. That's not that doesn't exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
Okay, we also left out Bartok.
Batroc,
no.
the Leaper.
Thank you. Yes, the Leaper. Yes, Batroc. Right. It's not Bartok. It's Batroc. Right. Yes. Which he's basically got some sort of plan for the Falcon, whether or not he's going to take out Sam or he's going to take out the Falcon or something like that. But yeah, so him and the Flag Smashers versus at least Sam and Bucky. Yeah. Okay. And then, so we're probably thinking, what? So is what's his face? Is Walker going to survive this? Do we think he's a character to stick around?
Well, I do think as a character, he's you can clearly see the guy's flawed, and you can see that he's actually, well, okay, maybe not as repentant as he should be, but he is showing a little bit of remorse for what's gone down. So if they can kind of give him at least an anti-hero redemption arc kind of thing, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him still like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as an ongoing character.
Well, he's definitely going to have to be a vigilante no matter what, now that he's been disavowed by the government. So there's no way that they're going to like sanction anything for him to do anything. So it's obviously he's going to be a lone wolf, because you know how the lone wolves do in the Marvel Universe. They shave the sides of their hair and go after the Yakuza and all that.
All the time.
All the time.
So Sharon Carter, do you think she's the power broker?
Of course, she's the power broker. What do you mean, no?
No.
Why not? Why do you say that?
Because we just met the power broker.
Well, I think she could actually be the real power broker, and the guy who, or the power broker that was shot was sort of the stand-in, you know, the disposable.
I'm just saying, we just met the power broker with her blank business card.
Oh, are you saying that?
Oh,
Val is the.
Okay.
Because it would make sense for her to want to have super soldiers. She wants that formula. She needs her own army. So that card probably, when it does something to react, that's where it'll say power broker or something to that. Because I doubt Sharon would be threatening the flag smashers. I mean, if she had their number, she'd just send people to go and get them.
Well, she did have access to a lot of tech, though.
I mean,
for someone on the run, right, or basically a refugee from the United States, she did have a lot of access to a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, look at where she is. That's like tech central.
That is true.
That's like being in Japan and saying, "Man, you sure have access to a lot of rice." Coincidence? Yeah, I think we just met the power broker when she handed over the blank card.
Okay, all right then. Okay, I could live with that. That's
that, and I've watched Veep and a bunch. I mean, she can pull off Menace. She really can.
Oh no, I'm not doubting Julia Louis-Dreyfus cannot act. She is.
And you guys ever watch Comedian Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld?
No.
Yep.
I've seen a couple.
That's a great series.
The reunion with her and Seinfeld was hilarious. And she said one of her greatest regrets on Seinfeld, she never got to play a villain. She never got to be like the bad guy in any of the episodes. She'd have minor stories, but she was never like the heavy in an episode. And
well, if you want to see how much of a bitch she can be, her role in Veep was phenomenal.
Oh, it was great. But I think this is a kind of role that she could really basic, because a lot of actors, playing the hero is one thing, but you really finally get to stretch your wings when you get to play the villain and play it to however you want to do it. Then you get to just, the limits are off.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do, because she was radiating that slightly crazy, sort of off-kilter menace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great moment when she suddenly showed up. I was just like, and the second I saw the purple hair, I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, no, yeah. As soon as you saw the hair, I instantly knew who it was too. Like I said, it was a great choice to not go with that streak of white hair, but to make it purple. That was fantastic. And I love how she was complaining about wearing the boots. That was amazing.
They're not made for walking.
Yeah. I don't know. We got anything else to say about Falcon and the Winter Soldier with this particular episode?
We'll see how it pans out next Friday.
It's somehow getting better. I mean, there's some stuff going on that doesn't quite mesh well. It doesn't feel like it's up to the same level as the other stuff that we've seen. But it's starting to come together.
It's making me want to see Loki a lot, like a lot.
I was fascinated with the Fat Man Beyond, the episode with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard, where they're talking to Ed Brubaker. Like, it's neat to hear the story of the creation of the character.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why didn't you guys get this guy to help write the series? Like, there's so many writing problems with this whole series for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, you guys have access to this guy. He'd obviously probably like to, get his hands dirty and help with the writing. Why would you not bring him into it?
Yeah, exactly. That was it was like what, at least an hour and a half with him alone on that one episode. Yeah, I listened to it as in the podcast forum at work the other day, and it was first of all fascinating thing to hear about his story and what he's been doing and whatnot. So yeah, it was just. Did you guys hear it as well? Did you guys listen in on it?
I watched it.
Yeah. Oh, you watched it? Okay.
Chance to.
Okay. Do yourself a favor. It's actually really insightful, especially to what he's been doing and his creation and his thoughts about, getting some sort of like representation with the character that like he said, he didn't technically create the character of Bucky, but the idea of the Winter Soldier is all his. And all right, so we got the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're not talking about Invincible because I don't think we need to talk about Invincible. Does anyone want to talk about Invincible? You guys want to talk Invincible?
I didn't see the latest episode.
Yeah. And Mike hasn't seen any of it?
No, I don't have the Amazon account, so I haven't been watching that. Although I like Invincible is one of that my brother Blair had always said, Mike, you got to read this book. You got to read the comic.
Right.
And I've been flipping through comics on the shelf ever since it was released. Like, it was never hit home enough to buy the series, and I have enough of knowledge happen just from flip every month and just kind of getting an idea of what's happening in the story. But I have not watched the animated series. No.
Okay.
Movie soon.
That is true. There is also that to look forward to. Now it's the same company doing it as well, too, isn't it?
Company, same writers.
Yeah. Okay. Which is kind of cool. Which is a really, really, really rare thing to actually see. All right. So, Trevor, what do you got for turning back the pages?
So, turning back the pages. A while back, Max Brooks put out something called the Survival Guide, and it's kind of like taking it, if zombies were a thing, it's talks about everything from what to do, where to go, what kind of weapons to look for, all that sort of stuff. And then he decided to take that one step further and created World War Z, a series of short stories kind of collected together as the oral history of the zombie war. The book is divided into 3 core sections: the initial outbreak, then there's short stories of how people were coping, and then towards the end of that section, when the U.S. finally got their feet back out from like back underneath them and started trying to take back the country, and then the final section is all about the aftermath. How does society pick up the pieces after losing such a large section of the population? In my opinion, it's beautifully written. Every short story has a completely different voice. The only thing that's kind of like consistent through, that's like the thread connecting every story, is the voice of the narrator, who is like a UN investigative reporter who had gone around and collected all these stories. And at the very start, he says, he went to his boss and said, we can't just let these stories die. And the guy's like, well, you got all the material, publish a book, put it together. And so he did. And that's what basically this book represents.
Okay, so we're talking the Zombie Survival Guide was published in 2003.
Yes.
And then again, probably, this is myself as well. I was totally in line with this whole entire idea of just the comic book. Now, there is also a comic book based on this Zombie Survival Guide, wasn't it?
There was some not really an official comic book per se. But it spawned a lot of zombie literature, zombie comics. People used it as a jumping point because he did his homework. And for people who don't know, Max Brooks is the son of director Mel Brooks. So, he had a pretty good understanding of how to tell a good story. When we went into World War Z, the book was well received, and then I picked up the zombie survival guide. I read through it, was great. And then I didn't realize that the World War Z had been come out until the audiobook came out.
Oh, the audiobook.
Exactly. The audiobook to me, I mean, up until this point, audiobooks were one person doing all the voices, basically reading the book. That sometimes you get, good voice actors who would change the pitch of their voice for the various.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Except for Stephen Fry in Harry Potter, he did a falsetto voice for all of the female characters. It was awkward.
So
William Shatner did that in his Star Trek books too.
Yeah, for World War Z, they got an ensemble cast.
Oh, that is definitely the antithesis. Someone come fill in the word I'm trying to come with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very top, the best. Oh, shut up, Michael.
The thing is
yes.
So you got Max Brooks, whose dad is Mel Brooks, who has worked with basically just about everybody in Hollywood. So when the son of Mel Brooks says, "I need people to voice act,"
they needed Hodge to come in and tell them the dog is missing.
Hi, Adrian.
Michael says hello.
Hi. I would be talking to the TV even if you weren't.
I know you'd be talking to TV if I weren't here recording. That's true.
Anyways, so they do the audiobook. Son of Mel Brooks says, "I need voice actors." Who does he get? So I'm just going to run down a quick list. You got Nathan Fillion, Paul Sorvino, Carl Reiner, Rob Reiner, Simon Pegg, Denise Crosby, Bruce Boxleitner, Jerry Ryan, Henry Rollins, Mark Hamill, Jurgen Pruchkow, David Ogden Steers, Cal Penn, Alan Alda, just to name a couple.
So, no names, just people who just they got off the street.
No names. Just grab people off the street and said, here, record a voice or two. So they first did the the abridged version. So they just basically cherry picked the best of the stories, because the initial audiobook was over 6 hours long. But you listen to it and just time just flies by. You don't even realize how long it's going, because it's just, again, these actors are using their craft to really push themselves into the characters and telling these stories beautifully. Then they came out with the unabridged version, which is every story that's in the book is in the audiobook.
Like that.
Yeah, no, it's I believe the version that I discovered was the unabridged, which I downloaded off of some server somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Probably was in some sort of Pirate Bay or something like that back in the day. And yeah, when it is fantastic. You can read along with the actual original. Yeah.
So I heard the abridged version. A friend of mine lent it to me. I listened to it. I was like, oh my God, I got to figure out where this is from. Went to the bookstore the same night. So I was working in a studio at the time, finished work, immediately went right to Chapters and, bought the book. Actually, this exact copy. Read through it, realized, while they'd hit most of the stories, there were a couple that weren't there. The unabridged version hits out. I buy it immediately. Like, second it's available, I buy it. Listen to it. Loved it. Gave it as copies of it as many gifts I could out that year to various people. Like, oh, here you go, Christmas gift. Here you go, birthday gift. And it was just like this is basically, in my opinion, it was a perfect audiobook for a great book of short stories, because that's basically all these are. It's each one's its own little contained story, that there will be most of the story in one section. They'll pick it up a little bit in the middle, and then again at the end. And so you see how that story progresses, how those characters change over time. And then I'd heard a rumor that they were looking at doing this as a miniseries. And I was like, ooh, that sounds good. And then AMC said, oh, we're doing The Walking Dead. And I was like, well, that's kind of like two groups doing the same kind of thing. I doubt that's going to happen. And then I heard, oh, they're going to do a movie. And I was like, ooh, well, why not? And then I found out, well, Brad Pitt's company got a hold of it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's. Okay, you go on with your story.
Brad Pitt was great in Fight Club.
Yeah. So
yes, Ed Norton as Brad Pitt was great in Fight Club. This is going to be an ongoing thing with us, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've actually read the first script that they and it was really, really close to the book. It was very faithful to the book. But the problem was they're like, well, the zombies are slow moving, so it's going to be a slow moving story, and you're jumping all over the place, and you got Brad Pitt. So it suddenly turned into, let's rewrite it as an action movie. So we got to speed the zombies up, and it's now Brad Pitt versus the zombies. And as Max Brooks has said, the only thing that the movie World War Z and this book share in common is the title. That's and that there's zombies of some sort. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie that they decided to, hey, here we go. It had some interesting scenes. I mean, the zombies were almost like water, and sometimes because there's so many.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Yeah. I mean, again, like you said, the only thing it has in common with the actual novel World War Z is the title. Yes.
Yeah.
As a story, it wasn't terrible. As a story, but any resemblance to World War Z factor is completely coincidental.
The material it came from, World War Z, the film, is fine. Now, they even said they were going to do a sequel, but it kind of, it begs the question how. Anyways, and so when we, discussed doing some of this, I immediately thought of this. This was where you have excellent source material, and then you just kind of throw it in the paper shredder and go, I can do better, and don't. I mean, this honestly, if they had taken this book and HBO bought the rights and did, instead of doing Game of Thrones, had done World War Z as
why not both?
Is one of the stories. It would have been, it would have kicked the hell out of Walking Dead. It would have basically said, here's your grave, fall in. We're just going to kick the dirt over you because this is done better. And it is. If you haven't read it, or if you haven't listened to the audiobook, I highly recommend it. Just because, especially if you like zombies in any way, shape, or form. Now, segueing to that too, Zack Snyder's latest offering to be put on Netflix was it next month?
I believe it is. Yeah, May. Yeah,
Army of the Dead.
Yep.
Which is kind of it's a spiritual successor to his Dawn of the Dead. He kind of skipped Day of the Dead and went right to Army. Oh, no. Exactly. The trailers look nice. It looks like pretty interesting. You got some smart zombies going on. But it's I'm a big fan of the zombie genre. I'm not a big fan of when people figure they can reinvent the wheel or take material that's good to begin with and try to reinvent it and just shit all over it. Like this was, I remember sitting in the theater like about halfway through going, what the hell is this? Like, it was just this something. They tried to inject humor, like when the virologist like trips on the boarding ramp and ends up tripping on his gun and shooting himself in the head, and you're like, what? Or suddenly the cell phone rings as all the zombies turn and look, and you're thinking, wow, what a time to get a call from your wife who's halfway around the world on an aircraft carrier. What amazing!
Like what happened to the Falcon?
Exactly, but it was just like,
I mean, come on.
Just amazing reception. Like I didn't know that between the aircraft carriers and to Brad Pitt in the middle of Germany, or where the hell he was, that's some amazing cell reception. And then there's like, oh, well, the zombies are thrown off by sick people.
Okay, wait a sec. On that point, Mike, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is actually 4 years into our future, and the Brad Pitt zombies was about 6 or 7 years ago. So
yeah.
So he was using the Stark satellites. So okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes
Yeah.
World War Z was done it was released in 2013. So
my math was
okay.
Wait, my math was off, but still.
Yeah. But still,
the zombie apocalypse would start with COVID-19. Should have masked up.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, World War Z had some beautiful set piece action. I mean, there was supposed to be this whole war in Russia that Brad Pitt's character was supposed to be a part of, and then finds out that the side character is now taking his wife, and so he like commandeers a boat and sails to Washington State, and then realizes, well, his wife's in Florida, so that's where the movie was to end. And the second movie would be him fighting his way across the U.S. to go reunite with his family. Now it's like, well, if we know you just inject yourself with a potentially fatal but not really fatal disease, the zombies are like, I don't like you, and wander away. It's again taking the source material and taking a big old huge dump on it. And then it's like, we'll share the title.
The Battle of Yonkers would have been an incredible visual feast, watching like zombies like overcoming the just regular soldiers who are used to the shock and awe thing.
For
and then
people who aren't aware of what the Battle of Yonkers is, it was the U.S. Army's first major battle with the zombies. So they set up in the town, and basically in Yonkers, just outside of Manhattan, where they were taking on the bulk of the zombies from New York City. Now,
and in the abridged audio drama, that was Mark Hamill's sequence.
Oh, he was perfect.
And you're talking about population of New York City is about 12 million people.
Yeah.
And they're saying it was at least 10 million zombies. 10 million people. It's hard to imagine how big that is. And they've got like Bradley fighting vehicles and some Abrams, and they got some Apaches coming overhead, and you have 10 million zombies that you have to destroy the brain to put it down, are marching towards you. And in the audiobook, the desperation in Mark Hamill's voice as things go sour fast, you realize just the hopelessness of the situation. Again, as Gav said, that would have made an incredible visual spectacle, especially if it done in like a miniseries with the money like Game of Thrones had thrown at it. It would have made the Battle of Winterfell like whoop-de-doo.
Like I just when I was listening to the audiobook, reading the scene in the actual novel, I'm just sitting there visualizing this. Here's the entire might of the United States military, who is used to basically intimidating the ever living fuck out of anything that comes their way, against an enemy that cannot be intimidated, that cannot be demoralized, that cannot be stopped unless you do the direct hit to the brain. So they're dropping like anti-personnel mines, with frag grenades. They're shredding these zombies to pieces. But then, sure enough, here's Mr. Torso and an arm kind of dragging itself continuously towards you.
Yeah, there's a great quote of, you can run away from a zombie, but you're just going to die tired. Because they don't get you in speed, unless you're in the Snyder universe of high-speed Olympic running zombies.
Did you see Spencer's face?
You're just dealing with zombies that you can run from, but eventually they're going to catch you. And it's not the single zombie you worry about; it's the horde. They surround you. Once they get a hold of you, breaking the grip's nearly impossible, and then you're done for.
Well, like if you're wearing body armor, sure, they can't bite you. But eventually they're going to start peeling off the armor off of you.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's almost like if you're in the ocean and it's dark at night and there's things swimming beneath you, it's just a matter of time sort of thing. It's that same sort of, instinctive fear of just being surrounded by a horde that no matter what you do, you can't get away from. Eventually it is going to catch you. Flip the coin onto the Dawn of the Dead from Snyder, where you had some pretty athletic zombies. I will say, a quick little side, I love the fact that he used people who had like partially missing limbs.
Yeah.
Just dress that up. That was gorgeous. The one point in that movie that I made kind of everything brought to a crushing halt. So these zombies use all of their speed and all of their power all of the time. They go to the gun store, they come back being chased by zombies, they go running up the stairs, and they're working at the door, and the door finally opens, and the zombies are right behind them until they hit the bottom of the stairs, and it's like they stop, and then slowly creep up the stairs at a time. I'm like, they wouldn't be creeping, they'd be friggin' sprinting up those stairs. But it's to heighten the tension. It's just that one moment. It was like, who forgot that the zombies are supposed to run all the time? Who thought that'd be great? It'll be fine. It'll ratchet up the tension. Yeah.
Well, 28 days later, introduced the idea of the fast zombie, and that actually scared the absolute shit out of me when I first realized that they were reinventing the whole idea of zombies. I mean, zombies, yeah, you could outwalk them. You do a brisk walk down the street.
When you read through this, he talks about the fact that when people are zombified, they're initially stronger than what you expect. But as time goes on, the muscles break down, they get slower and slower until eventually they are pretty much immobile. And it's stuff like that, again, doing your homework.
Hi, Adrian.
Hey, Edie, how you doing?
It's not that one of us is actually muted. It's just one of us really doesn't have much to talk about for zombies because he's not a big fan of the zombie genre, which I understand. I mean, there's genres out there that I don't mind to. Michael is not a big fan of the zombies.
Although, I will say, the survival guide has always been on my radar. That's something I've always known about, and I thought it was hilarious. World War Z has always been on my radar as well. I did not know that it was Max Brooks and related to Mel Brooks. So, I mean, I think you sold me on that, Trevor. I gotta say, that's one thing that always I enjoyed back at Sheridan with the Freak Pit group. Everybody would bring different things to the table. Like everybody would have something, no matter what it was, whether it was a comic book or a role-playing game or a movie or an anime, something would be brought to the table and you'd be exposed to new things. So it's kind of fun doing these podcast things. So
yeah,
that's definitely gonna have to get that audiobook. 100% sold.
I mean, yeah, it was just a fun thing to listen to. I think I was working at Amberwood or something like that in Ottawa at the time, and a lot of it was just mindless repetition for scenes. So I just threw the audiobook on, and I'm sitting there going like, "Oh shit, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard."
Yeah, for me it was I was doing compositing, and I threw it on, and next thing you know, my shift's over, and I'm like, I kind of want to stay because there's still an hour left in the audiobook. So I'm hunting for scenes to do compositing on so I don't have to leave because I want to finish the stupid audiobook, which I did, and it was great. And then a couple months, I think it was about a year later, they did the unabridged, and I'm like, well, buying that.
No, absolutely fair. Must buy.
I mean, honestly, if he were to continue to write more in that world, I would probably continue reading. I found his writing it was very easy to read, very compelling. You didn't really want to put the book down because you wanted to see where this was headed.
Well, it was conversational. It just felt like you were part of this dialogue, and he's telling you what is going on. Like when he was talking to General whatever his name is, you felt like you were there listening to this interview.
Yeah. It's also the fact that because it in essence goes all around the world. It's not just like the American Superman who beats the entire zombie invasion with his little pinky and a 45. You just realize just how this was happening globally, and especially now with 2020 with everything happening, a pandemic happening globally. Like, okay, so this would be the absolute extreme case. Cool, it's not so bad. It's bad, but it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. People could be eating the salts from hot tubs and eating other people.
Bath salts, yeah.
But let's stay away from that. No Tide Pods, thank you.
Well, one of the things that I really liked about it is there wasn't so much of the rah American thing as you were saying. It was like the American army had its ass handed to them on a silver platter. I mean, it literally got the shit kicked out of them. And you're starting to realize through this book that the U.S. military is not what it's all cracked up to be.
Well, there's a very famous quote of the U.S. military, as in most militaries, they're very great at perfecting the fighting style of the previous war. So, World War I was trench warfare. World War II was more open warfare. Korea was a lot more armored warfare. And then Vietnam, again, a completely different animal. So they were, by the time Vietnam hit, they were ready to fight another Korean style war, but that wasn't the case. So this book, I mean, again, doing your homework of realizing that, at this point, you've got the U.S. military has been fighting in Afghanistan. So they're used to fighting that type of war. When you suddenly have an enemy you can't intimidate, well, your shock and awe tactics are now thrown out the window, but that's all you prepared to do is shock and awe. So again, it's doing your homework of, in this scenario, how would people react? And then when things go sideways, how do you react to that? And that's what I think was really compelling for me when I was reading the book, was just seeing that take on it. Because usually it's a case of, Rambo pulls out his M60, loads in the ammo, and just hogs down the entire attacking army, and life is good at the end. He says some pithy quip, puts his knife back in his sheath, and walks off into the sunset.
Now, Mike, I know you're planning on getting into the book here, so I'm not going to give away anything. But the character that Mark Hamill plays, Todd Wainio, he's pretty much the everyman grunt. He's the guy who's essentially, he's in the front lines. He's seeing all this shit happening right in front of him, and he's the guy panicking, and the only thing he can do is run away. Right? He didn't quite run away in this situation, but basically you want to see what happens next. And all I can say is just stay tuned. Keep that audiobook playing. You are going to love just the recounting of everything in this book.
You guys made a compelling case. I'm 100% in.
And again, as because they used
one of us. And
I'm just saying, because they used an ensemble cast to do the voice acting. I mean, I've listened to enough audiobooks. If you hear the same person doing all the voices after a while, you're like, oh God, stop doing the falsetto. Or who am I supposed to be listening to at this point? Because the voice, they don't change their voice at all. When you have an ensemble cast, it's, to me, again, it's just far more compelling to listen to.
And one other thing, Michael, knowing you, as soon as Rollins' role comes on, you're just gonna love his character.
Oh yeah,
I was excited when he showed up in Avatar, or the Legends of Korra as the villain there in the 4th season. It's wait a second, that's Henry Rollins.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. And speaking of Mark Hamill, new movies in. You see the event for that? The Machine, Kreischer. I don't know if you know the comedian Bert Kreischer. There's a story about him when he was in college. He was doing a trip to Russia and ended up getting tied up with the Russian mob. It's a hilarious story, like true story, allegedly. But anyways, he's making a movie about it. So he's doing a sequel to the true story that happened. Mark Hamill's in it as his father-in-law. And they just did like a little teaser yesterday for that. So if you haven't seen that, just look up Mark Hamill, The Machine.
All right, I will be.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool, actually. No, hey, all right. Michael brings something to the table. Excellent. All right, so while we're wrapping up that, I think we're done with that, right, Trevor? That report.
Oh, yeah,
that's a great way to start. I think that's something we should bring in each one of us a different week. We'll bring a subject like that, usually based around a comic book from the past and all that. We'll talk about either movies or TV shows or anything that spawns to our mind, and we'll just take turns throwing up a tiny little report to put on the tail end of our episodes.
Sounds good.
That sounds like good. So I think we're going to be wrapping up this episode 2 of Geeking Off the Page. I want to thank everyone for joining us here. If I know the audience isn't that big right now, but hey, you know what? In the future, this could be one of the most popular things ever, huh?
It will be. It will be.
There you go. All right. So,
or do not. There is no try.
It's your turn, Trevor. What are you going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's on brand,
right,
actually. That's on brand.
Pretty good. That is on brand. That's right. All righty then. So we want to do this again. We want to do goodbye individually or all together?
Goodbye all together.
Goodbye all together.
Goodbye all together.
Goodbye all together. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
You have just been listening to Geeking Off the Page with your hosts, Mike Kitchen, Gavin Burbage, Trevor Brown, and Troy Bowman. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you could leave us a rating and comment, that would assist in allowing others to find this podcast more easily. You can follow the podcast on the following social platforms: Instagram and Twitter, search for @PlanetGeekPod, all one word. On Facebook, search for Planet Geek Productions. Or you can send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Buy the guys a coffee by going to Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/planetgeekpod. And know that any and all donations will go towards improving all current and future Planet Geek Productions programs. Thank you for listening.